Mexico 2, South Africa 0. We kicked off with the World Cup yesterday, and although there wasn't much excitement coming into the World Cup, the excitement definitely arose yesterday when the game kicked off at 8 p.m. UK time. What did I think of the game? I think red cards are going to outshine the performance of Mexico the most, because there were some controversial decisions made from the referees. I personally think one of those red cards should have been given. However, the other two were definitely controversial. I think what we might find in this World Cup is definitely an inconsistency of refereeing. I think the fact that, we've got referees from different nationalities, unfortunately not one nationality is going to be there. There's definitely a lot of controversy around that referee. I believe he's going to be refereeing for the Super Cup, PSG versus, top of my head, I don't remember who won the Europa League. I cannot remember for the life of me. Was it Crystal Palace? I don't remember. Anyways, we kicked off and Mexico, I thought they looked okay. I don't think they were on their A game, but they definitely looked okay. They got over the line, and Raul Jimenez was leading the front line for Mexico, and he got his first World Cup goal in the iconic Allianz Stadium, which has hosted the most opening World Cup games, I believe. Speaking of opening World Cup games, Mexico have been involved in the most openers, and they finally got their first win out of, I believe, 7 or now 8. I think they lost 5 and drew 2, and they finally won, their opener. South Africa, they were their own downfall, really. They tried playing out the back, however, done it unsuccessfully numerous of times, and you can see the mistakes that Mexico were capitalising off. The first goal came from, I believe, Temba is his name, and he just receives it off the goalkeeper, takes a heavy touch, the Mexican player presses him and scores the goal. This Mexican player who scored, I believe he's actually dual nationality, half Colombian, half Mexican, and he gets the goal. Colombia are going to be, head in hands for rejecting him and not calling him up in 2023, which is why he switched his nationality. So there's definitely going to be a little bit of controversy in that. Mexico, they got over the line. Raul Jimenez scores a header. This is right after the first red card, when a Mexican player was through on goal one-on-one, and the South African player just catches him from behind. I think that was a red card, definitely. Goal scoring opportunity denied. However, the second red card was from a South African player in possession of the ball, and he just kind of brushes his arm across the Mexican defender, and they've considered that as malicious play, slapping him across the face. So it's a shame, really. He's gonna, that's his World Cup pretty much over, maybe. And then the final red card was from a South African attack. I believe they were like 4-2, and it looked as if it was a clever tactical foul. However, the referee called it and said it was a red card. I think they concluded that it was a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, which it most certainly wasn't, because he was very wide, and his teammate was the other side of the pitch, but it wasn't a one-on-one at all. So I think the red cards are going to steal the limelight of this game. More red cards than goals. It's definitely a game that's attracting eyeballs, that's for sure, which is probably what FIFA ideally wanted. But, South Africa hosted the World Cup 16 years ago. What a World Cup that was, by the way. I mean, I was too young to really follow it, but I know everybody talks about that World Cup with such great memory. This World Cup, Mexico being one of the co-hosts, they finally won, and I think they'll do all right, to be honest with you. Raul Jimenez, he's looking sharp, gets his first goal of the World Cup at age 35. He's now got a move confirmed to Wolves back from Fulham, so he's going to be wanting to get the ball rolling for sure this World Cup, as it's probably going to be his final one at 35 years of age. But overall, yeah, good opener. We've got USA versus Paraguay today, and let's see what USA can do. I think USA will get it over the line. Personally, I think all these co-hosts are gonna get it over the line, at least in their first game, just because they've got that that liveliness about them. And the Mexican fans really celebrated today. I think there was 800 traveling South African fans, maybe a little bit more. But they saw their side lose today. Mexico, they looked good. They had the music playing after each goal, which gets the juices flowing a little bit. But the Allianz Stadium, what an iconic stadium to start off the first game of the World Cup. I believe it's hosted the most World Cup opening games. So it's extremely iconic, and fair play to the players getting out there on the pitch and representing their nations. So there was definitely records broken at this World Cup. The most red cards in an opening World Cup game, which is quite funny, to be honest. I think in terms of the excitement involving around the World Cup, I think it's a bit subsided due to the time zones. I think had the games been, Europe time, the hype would be there a little bit more, as opposed to having these games so early in the morning or so late in the night that it's going to be so hard for people to follow. We started off the match with Shakira and Burna Boy, doing their World Cup anthem song, and it was. It's getting the hype a little bit up there a little bit. I saw, quite funnily enough, Speed dropped a World Cup song as well, and I think it's got half the views of Shakira's one in literally just a day. So it'll be funny to see if that builds traction and maybe trumps hers. But Shakira's so iconic, man, and that World Cup song for South Africa that will forever be like one of my favourite songs from her. But that's it from today's World Cup reaction. First game, Mexico versus South Africa. Unfortunately for South Africa, they did not manage to get a goal or 3 points for that matter. But we will see how USA versus Paraguay gets on today.